This is Watching with WANE.
Welcome into another episode of Watching with WANE, full cast yet again. The train keeps on rolling. We love it. We have Logan Salzbrenner, WANE 15 producer, Lydia Ruel, WANE 15 digital executive producer, and Hannah Grace, one of our many talented multimedia journalists. Ladies, how are we doing today?
Good.
Fabulous.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised to hear that response, Logan. I wasn't sure if...
That was about 2 seconds.
I was just waiting until we got into
I wasn't sure if last week's events, the way they transpired, would have dampened. But I'm glad to see it. I mean, rain or shine, got to keep the spirits up.
diabolical.
Yeah, I think we're just going to kind of get right into it
We
here.
have to.
Clayton's
that.
been waiting for this opportunity since
Last
Wednesday.
week.
Yes, a week ago. So as many of you know, Survivor 50 kicked off 1 week ago. So before we get into all of our draft stuff, I guess we should just start by saying what we thought sort of the episode. Obviously, Survivor 50, big season. I thought it was great. And I guess maybe we want to go into like our draft stuff first. I don't know if we want to like start maybe by saying how we're doing.
Well, I would love to show the
I know
standings.
Clayton would
of
love
our
to show
Survivor draft.
our standings.
Clayton's on pins
so
and needles.
Clayton, take it away.
Yeah, so kind of transferring it over here, we have, 10 people in our Survivor draft. And you can see, I mean, it's pretty evident on the board here. We scroll down a little bit.
I think we have 11 because 2 are tied for 6.
All 3 of our wonderful guest co-hosts, whatever moniker you guys want, are the bottom 3 after week 1.
Yeah.
Now, I do feel I need to point something out here.
Man.
Okay.
I, of course, was randomly selected to go last in our draft because the Survivor gods knew I had to be held back in some way.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yep.
I would be
That's
sweeping
it,
from the
that's
first
it.
week. Also, this is only the first week of our draft, and Clayton is only beating me, who's in last place, by 5 points.
Right.
And only beating Hannah by 2 points. So when Clayton is talking
3 points.
this big game, Hannah has 9 points and you have 11 points.
I have 8.
So when you have 9 points, Hannah.
Oh, what's the 8?
What are you reading?
I actually don't know
Hannah?
how this works.
It tells you
What's
by
no.
the
These are our points
category
at the end. Are our points?
Yeah, if she's looking at the first one, you got 8 points for.
It's because one of our people got voted out.
So you got a point from that.
And I'm the only one on the board with someone voted out.
Which
Wait, how do you get a point from that?
Well, because Hannah's going to get like 1 point an episode because otherwise she'll be so far behind because we're each going to get points from like our
So
survivors
it's like
actually
a pity
doing
point.
stuff.
Yeah, that's actually kind of makes me upset. I did not know
Well,
that.
because like when your survivor actually wins or something, like we're going to get like 6 points each time, whereas Hannah's only going to get like 1 point.
So Shane actually has 20 instead of 16?
Yeah, Shane has 20 points. So he
Whoa.
probably what happened was both of his people, their tribe like won the challenge and stuff, and then he might have gotten some like voting points and stuff. This is why it's only the first week, so there's a lot of game left to be played. But I feel like we should maybe go through who we ended up drafting. And I can't remember what order you guys got to go. But yeah, I was last, of course, just my luck. I was looking at our draft order. But I ended up drafting Chrissy and Joe are my 2 people. And then Clayton, I don't know if you want to talk about who you ended up getting.
It was Coach and Ozzy. And everybody knows Coach is just the
And they had
greatest
beef.
Survivor player of all time.
Which it's so interesting
beef.
that you got those 2 players because as you would see if you watched the episode, which I'm pretty sure you guys both watched it. Hannah watched like a recap of it.
Yeah, I could not commit to
Coach
3
and
hours.
Ozzy have a huge history, which we'll get into when we talk about the episode, but they probably have the most interesting dynamic of like all the returning players. So it's really interesting.
Oh
that
no,
those are
I
your
saw
2
it.
people.
I was all over it, Logan. I saw it,
I
and then
know,
Coach
so
did it
He's
again.
in.
Coach
He did it again.
So
what he
Classic
had to
Coach.
do. He made the shorter stick, let Ozzy make the longer stick, and
He let
Coach
Ozzy
win.
do the
Coach-
hard
Clayton
Coach
is
work.
did-
so locked. Clayton is
Coach
so
does what he
locked.
does.
And
He does
you know
best.
what?
He wins.
I sent him the recap video. So if you're going to hate on me for watching a recap video, you have to hate on Clayton too.
Clayton, did you watch the actual episode or did you just watch the recap?
I wouldn't even say I watched the recap video. I listened to the recap video while I
Lydia,
was
you
doing
watched the
other
episode?
I watched the
work-related
episode,
things.
I
Keep
knew.
that in mind.
I watched it as a work project.
And Lydia, who did you draft?
I got Sari. She's who I want as my sole survivor. And I was one of the first people, I think, to be able to pick in the draft. So I went with Sari, and then I also got Jonathan. So I am pretty happy with my picks. I'm not going to try to jinx anything, but feeling pretty good.
And Hannah, who did you draft?
I got, is her name Aubrey or Audrey?
Aubrey.
Aubrey. I don't remember the other one, but she was voted out first.
And Jenna.
Jenna, she was voted out first. She won
So,
season 1.
It was very interesting. She didn't win season 1.
Just kidding.
She was on season 1. But,
She was on season 1. She did not win.
But it was really interesting because during the first episode, I was watching live, and obviously you could sort of tell who's like in danger, sort of, and it was pretty clear they were either going to vote out Jenna, Ozzy, or Suri, which is someone that all 3 of you guys had drafted, and I was like, someone's going to lose one of their people their very first day, who's actually one of our people who are on the actual podcast. And so I was like, someone's going to get a big blow the very first night, and it ended up being Jenna. I felt horrible for her,
Yeah.
especially because she's the season 1 representative, but...
Out so quickly. I was crashing out a little bit before that point, texting Logan when they started putting Sari's name in their mouth. I was like, no way is Sari getting voted out. So
I liked her. So
Jenna?
no,
Or
Suri.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Sari. You're going to get to see more of her in many future episodes.
Yeah. And
Knock on
maybe
wood.
Audrey.
Aubrey?
Aubrey. Hey, my strategy for this was clicking and vibes.
Sometimes it's
And
all you gotta go off.
that's what I'm doing for the rest of this season is going off of vibes.
So I guess our episode 1 recap mainly will be me and Lydia, since we're the ones who watched it. But Clayton knows some of what happened in the first episode, and you guys watched the recap.
Yeah.
But I loved the opening sequence. There was probably a 15-minute opening sequence.
So I actually did miss all of that.
Oh,
Oh my.
I was coming home from church, and then I found out the hard way that you can't watch it live on Paramount Plus. It doesn't come out on streaming until the day after, so I had to quickly figure out my antenna. And wow, yeah, I was able to hop on through my antenna about 20 minutes in, but I'm sure the opening was great.
yeah, there was a whole opening where they were pretty much recapping all the best moments, and it was funny because we watched some of the most iconic Survivor moments, and a lot of them included that and had moments from all 50 seasons and things like that, and showing different players who are going to be on this season. So it had that, and then obviously it goes straight into them on the beach, them arriving, and then obviously a big thing with this episode was Coach and Ozzy, and them sort of their beef coming back into play, because I don't know how much it included in the recap, but obviously they go on this sort of secret visit where they had to do that challenge with the key, and classic Coach, pretty much steals it out right from under Ozzy.
Literally under Ozzy.
Right out from under him, after Ozzy has been trying to get it for 40 minutes or however long it had been. But, I mean, in his defense, Coach didn't say he wasn't going to steal it from him.
Right.
Ozzy said
I
he
think-
won it,
Yeah.
but
I think what was brutal is before that they had a handshake on the beach.
they'd sort of
That
made
was-
up.
yeah,
And,
and they just went
so
and
some
did
of the
it.
history that, you may not know if you haven't watched it before is that Coach and Ozzy had both played Survivor, and then they both came back for Survivor South Pacific, where they were playing with a bunch of new people, and then Ozzy and Coach were sort of almost the captains on their tribes, and then they both made it to the merge, and when they got there, you would think they would be against each other and want to vote each other out, but they sort of had some conversations where they're you know what, and Coach was the one who was you know what, let's actually work together. Otherwise, they're going to go for us, and let's, play against the best at the end.
That's the smarter way to do it.
Well, Coach was pretty much lying to Ozzy, and the whole time he was trying to get Ozzy out secretly.
Whoa.
And then when they got to the final 4, I think, he convinced, I think it was Cochran who ended up winning the whole season, to flip on Ozzy, who he had been with the whole time, and Ozzy was the last person in the jury. And then Ozzy pretty much convinced everyone on the jury to not vote for Coach, and Coach, I think, only lost by like 1 vote or something. So that's why when they're doing
ridiculous.
the challenge, that's why when they're doing the challenge and he's like, he pretty much cost me $1 million, that's what he's pretty much referring to, is how they like turned on each other, and then Ozzy sort of turned the jury on Coach. And
as someone
that
who
whole thing.
did not watch Survivor that season, but is very in the know with pop culture, I remember that happening, and I remember seeing clips of that.
Because it was like a huge thing after, because that's when like jury management was sort of becoming a big thing. Because now a lot of times on these competition shows, like you sort of have to play to the jury too. You don't want everyone to be mad at you. And that was one of those times where like he really like whipped everyone to like not vote for Coach. And so that's sort of like their history. And they started makeup on the beach, and then Coach just like steals it out from under him. And he's sort of contradictory because Coach is always like, he talks about how he plays with honor, and then he sort of steals it from him. But he didn't say he wasn't going to, so what can you do? And then obviously in the challenge, Suri doesn't perform very well.
Yeah, that was rough. Yeah, she could not make that bridge at all.
Yeah.
But she is,
Yeah.
I believe, the oldest player there.
Okay,
And
great.
and she actually did a challenge similar to that on Survivor World, which she was just on, and she did really well. And I think there was just one part that was different, which I didn't think she realized. I think that's why she volunteered to do it. And I think that was sort of why she was the one doing it.
And I have complete faith in her. I would trust her with my life. She's a nurse, so I'm not
Like, is a huge
exaggerating.
Suri fan.
I'm a huge Suri fan, and I think that she's gonna end up playing to her strengths. And I think she's really just keeping some skills in her back pocket to whip out when she needs to. She's being smart.
Now, I do think they should have voted her out.
Okay.
Because
Me
she's
too.
There we go. Yeah.
The reason
Absolutely.
I think is because she's such a great player. If I were there, I would have been like, oh, we have to vote Suri out. Like, I think Jenna was correct. I just think she went about it the wrong way. You cannot throw out a person's name before you even go to the first challenge. Like, she should have waited, because honestly, after Suri did so poorly, that is the perfect opportunity to then be like, okay, like, this seems pretty obvious. Also, like, Suri is probably the best social player there, like, out of every single person there. I mean, that's her whole thing. So, honestly, the fact that she made it through the first vote, I don't think that they'll get a chance again, honestly, for a long time. Because I think if Ozzy could keep her there that time after that performance, and everyone literally saying, oh, we probably should go for Suri, and then they still didn't do it, I think she is going to stick around for a while.
I do too.
So-
At the end of the day, this is a reality show. She had quite a bit of screen time in this episode, and so there are some people who I barely even know after the first episode that I think are going to get some more airtime when this next episode comes out. So
Yeah, especially because Jenna, like, she really didn't have any close allies, so I wouldn't have voted her off if I was there, but, you never know what they're thinking. But overall, it was a great episode, though. There was a lot of drama. Ozzy got a lot of screen time, too, but he's, like, a pretty beloved character. He got his Billie Eilish boomerang
That was
eyeball.
cool.
Out of nowhere, Billie Eilish
Eilish
comes
writes a
like
letter.
onto the island.
Yeah, so Genevieve gave him that, so we'll see what happens with that. And then, of course, we had a medical evacuation, too. Kyle, my heart broke for him because he actually was playing really well, and he was a returning winner. And for being a returning winner, he really didn't have a lot of heat on him. Everyone in his tribe loved him, and he was in a really good position. So I think people who were in his alliance might struggle a lot. And you're really lucky he got evacuated, Hannah, evacuated, because I think Aubrey maybe would have been the first person voted out on her tribe if he would have stayed. But
Shucks.
he's gone now, so she actually might have a chance to stay. But I think if he was there, she
We'll
probably would have been the
see.
first person voted out. But yeah, it
Hey,
was a really good
someone
episode,
else's
though.
person is going to get voted out tonight.
Who do you think's gonna? Are you saying you actually think someone's, or are you just saying
I
you
don't
hope
know. I'm
someone's?
just hoping.
Like, as long as it's not Aubrey.
As long as it's, oh man, imagine if my people were the first
Very
two
tough.
vote. That's like so on brand for
That'd be
me.
pretty tough.
Oh man.
Well, we
my
just have a
gosh.
few more minutes before I want to get into our next segment. So we're recording this for anybody watching. We're recording this at just after 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. So the episode's going to air later tonight. What are your guys' kind of thoughts for this next episode? Now that you've seen the first one, kind of know a little bit about the way alliances are shaping up, that kind of thing. What are your expectations for tonight?
I don't have a lot of specific things to say. This is still the first time I've ever seen Survivor, so I'm still kind of adjusting to all the different aspects of it. I guess I'll just kind of go with what I said before about I think some different people are going to get airtime, and we'll get to know the characters a little bit more, and I'm rooting for Suri all the way.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice to see some of the other tribes a little bit more. I think that, I can't remember their names, but like the Orange Tribe got so much screen time this time. That'll be interested to see the other ones. But yeah, I don't know. It's just so interesting because there are some pairings that I obviously thought would work together, but it's interesting to see like some people who I thought would be really big targets really aren't the way I thought they would. Like I thought Genevieve would have a hard time like making alliances, and she's doing a good job. But I think, like, obviously the winners who returned are going to be in trouble on their tribe. Like, I think if I can't tell if they're green or blue, but if, like, that tribe goes, I could see Dee, who's a returning winner, being in big trouble on her tribe. Same with now, if the Orange tribe goes back, I don't think they're going to go for Suri again. So I could see Savannah being in big trouble on her tribe, being the next person voted out. So I'll be interested to see how all of that shapes up. So... yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season goes. It's so hard to tell, though, too, with them because they don't really vote the way you normally would in a season because they all know each other so well. So they're not really going off of, like, what you normally would. It's interesting to watch this season for sure.
Hannah, I know you're going to be really excited to watch that episode 2 recap.
Yeah.
She
Whenever
said
it
she's
uploads
going
to
to watch
YouTube.
the rest of the episodes.
I'm committing to the shorter episodes. I just cannot do a 3-hour episode. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm here for drama. Let's see some more Coach and Ozzy.
There we go.
Let's do some drama. I also love that you got both of them. Like,
Yeah,
that's so
it is kind
fun.
of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really fun
they're
for
cool.
us.
And kind of like Lydia was saying earlier, clearly they're both high personalities. So the reality TV show,
Yeah,
they're,
I can
they're
see
gonna,
them.
They're going to stay around.
I
They're
mean,
gonna stay
like,
around.
luckily for you, unfortunate for us, I can see them sticking around for a long time because it is TV at the end of the day. And if you keep them around, you keep that storyline around.
Well, yeah, one of the little clips I did see from the recap was like toward the end of the episode, and I think it was just Coach like meditating on the beach or something.
Yeah.
Like that. The CBS audience going to eat that up.
Yes.
So
100%.
Yeah.
you got to keep them around.
8 p.m. tonight.
So yeah, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Like I said, moving forward for quite a while, this is pretty much how we'll start each episode of Watching with Wayne. See Logan at the bottom of the standings and kind of just talking about.
As
So
long
eager.
as I'm above Logan, I
There you
don't
go.
care.
You're so
I'm going to wake
eager
up in the
words.
morning. I'm going to wake up at 2 in the morning. I'm going to check it first thing, and I'm going to be dead last. I know it.
Well, I mean,
Eat
I
my
guess it's a
words.
good thing. I
Yeah,
know
you
now
are
how to
really good.
look at this because now I thought you were 8th, and essentially you're just tied for 5th. So if you look at it that way.
Yay.
So the other two, though.
Positive.
Anyway.
Just keep on talking and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we'll move into kind of the other part of today's show. So last week, for anybody who watched, we kind of dove into some of our favorite book to movie adaptations, kind of inspired by Hannah's disdain for
Don't
Wuthering
say it.
Heights.
Don't say it. Ugh.
And so we figured we'd do a part 2. Obviously, there have been so many book to movie adaptations. I mean, we could probably spend just as much time as the Survivor season is going to be on good book to movie adaptations. So we're here for part 2. If I remember correctly, we went from Hannah to Lydia last time, which is counterclockwise at the table. So let's switch it up and start with Lydia. Why don't you tell us about your
Yes.
pick, The Princess
So-
Bride?
Yes, I chose The Princess Bride, one of my favorite books and films of all time. I had not read the book until a few years ago, grew up watching the movie. It's just one of my comfort movies. So the movie, I figure more people have seen that than read the book. It came out in 1987, and it was directed by the beloved Rob Reiner, rest in peace. It's only an hour and 38 minutes long, so it's pretty digestible. And essentially, it's about this farm boy named Wesley, and he falls in love with Buttercup. It just kind of details their journey through their love story, all these ups and downs, really extreme ups and downs, because he ends up going on this trip, and long story short, she thinks he's dead. She ends up getting engaged to this prince, but turns out that Wesley is not dead, and he ends up coming to save her, and they meet some friends along the way. So that is the premise, and the book came out a decade before the film. The book was published in 1973. But when I say the book, I am talking about this version written by William Goldman. The original Princess Bride was written a long, long time ago, and it's not really a kid's book or a love story as much as a historical telling of Florin and that area. It describes somewhere what area exactly that is. But basically, the original title of the book is S. Morgenstern's Classic Tale of True Love and High Adventure. But this version is the good parts version, abridged by William Goldman. So Goldman's dad read this book to him, the original book to him, when he was a kid. And because it was a father retelling this to his son, he, changed some parts of it, amended some parts of it, and it just kind of cut to the good stuff. So when William Goldman read the book himself when he was all grown up, he realized how different it was, and he wanted to basically rewrite it, cut down on a lot of the boring history, and cut straight to the love part. So he wrote this book and then was able to write the screenplay for the movie. So this is part of why I believe it is an excellent adaptation, because he had a direct hand in how it all turned out. It's a star-studded cast. You've got Robin Wright and Carrie Elwes as the leads. You've got Inigo Montoya, played by Mandy Patinkin. Sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. Wallace Shawn as Vizzini, and Andre the Giant as Fezzik. Carol Kane and Billy Crystal as Valerie and Miracle Max, my two favorite characters. And then you've got Chris Sarandon and Christopher Guest as Prince Humperdinck and Count Rugen. So those are almost all the main characters. And one of the reasons I love this film is because it's one of the few that I would say is actually made better, makes the book better to read if you know the film. Being able to read the book in the characters' voices that were in the film, it's just so fun to get to hear all the dialogue in the voices of the actors who really just embodied those roles the best that I've ever seen. And for anybody who hasn't seen the film, it basically starts out in present day in the 80s, a kid who's sick, is bored, doesn't have anything to do, and his grandpa comes and reads this book to him. So it is kind of parallel to what the author himself had his father do. I'm kind of all over the place. I've got all these sticky notes in my book. But like I said, it was not originally really a kid's book, and then this author came in and revived it. And there are several really cute parts of the book where, because it is in itself kind of an adaptation, the author wanted to have a bunch of his own notes also written in the book. So there are parts where the author butts in and tells you his own commentary as he's reading, and that personality really just shines through. But like I said, the actors who were chosen for the film, it really makes it better to be able to read the book in their voices and picture what's going on as you're reading it one of the few times that I would be okay with somebody watching the movie before reading the book if it's already come out. So, yeah, to kind of sum it all up, the biggest difference, by the way, in the book and the movie, there's really not glaring differences. There's no reunion scene really in the book. Like in the movie, the As You Wish scene where Buttercup and Wesley reunite, she realizes that he's not dead. He's in disguise as the Dread Pirate Roberts, which that's a whole thing. But she realizes that it's him because he says, "As you wish," which is basically his way of saying, "I love you." And she was in the process of pushing him down a hill as she realizes that, oh, this is actually the love of my life that I'm standing in front of, and I didn't realize that it was him. So she just tumbles down the hill after him because that's the most efficient way to get down there. And that is in the book, but right after that, there's no like extended reunion scene where he really explains to her how he's still alive and all that. So that being the biggest difference is not that big of a deal at all. So I love that the film really stays true to the heart of the book. My favorite scenes are parallel to my favorite parts of the book, the falling down the hill scene. And then Wesley is super injured for different reasons, not because he got pushed down the hill, but he ends up having to be taken to like a witch's house basically to be healed. So that's where Miracle Max and Valerie come in. They are my favorite characters. They're this cranky old couple. They're on like my mental vision board for my marriage. Like they're just so cute. And so when they're healing Wesley, the way that plays out in the book is pretty much parallel to the movie. And then toward the end, there's so many iconic quotes. And toward the end, you get the scene where Buttercup is about to marry the prince right before Wesley comes to save her once he's healed. And there's this character that is only present in this scene, really. He's called the impressive clergyman in the movie. He's the archdean in the book. And he has this really silly accent where he's talking about, like, marriage is what brings us together to, like, whatever. I can't even try to do it like he does it. But in the book, the accent is written like that. Like, the word marriage is spelled like marriage, like Mawidge. So they go about like that, writing out the accent in just a quirky, funny way. So the actor that they got to play the archdean, the impressive clergyman, he was able to just draw inspiration straight from the book. So those are my favorite scenes. Obviously, go watch The Princess Bride if you haven't. All of us in here have seen it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's an excellent comfort movie. It's feel good. It's just like the original title of the book said. It is a classic tale of true love and high adventure.
Well, there you have it. I watched it once as a kid, so I really don't remember too much about it. I don't know if Hannah or Logan saw it more recently.
Oh. Yeah. Not like super recently, but fairly recently.
Enjoyed it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Logan?
I think I've only seen it like once or twice, but I haven't seen it in a while. But I need to watch it. I remember really liking it, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I need to watch it again. For sure. I remember it being really good.
Nice. Well, Logan, I guess we'll kind of just kick it off. We have about probably 20 minutes left getting into your second good book to film adaptation. It was tough for you to pick one. I saw a little behind the scenes but we got around to it.
Hard time. This one is very different from my one from last week. If you remember, I did the Hunger Games. This one is very different vibe. For mine this week, I chose The Outsiders as my book. Much more of like a classic feel to it, even though I'd call it the Hunger Games Catching Fire classic. But as far as like authors and stuff, like this book is definitely what I would consider like one of the classic books. But this book to movie adaptation is great because I'll get to all the other great things too, but there are a lot of like scene for scene, line for line things from this book, including the opening line of the movie is word for word from the book as well. And then there are so many good quotes too that come directly from the book into the movie that are iconic too, like when Johnny tells Ponyboy, stay gold, that's directly from the book as well. And then something that really stands out about this movie as well is the amazing casting, where we're introduced to a lot of these young men who end up becoming, you know, Oscar winners, iconic Hollywood famous guys. Just to name a couple of them, Patrick Swayze, Ralph Macchio, C. Thomas Howell, Tom Cruise, Rob Lowe. I'll get to Matt Dillon in a second. But those are all just some of the people who starred in the movie. And there's a behind-the-scenes documentary about them sort of casting them and just seeing their chemistry and stuff and how they chose them for the roles is really interesting because I think they just really embody the characters really well. And then speaking of great chemistry between Johnny and Ponyboy in the film, I think their relationship is really important because throughout the books, it sort of follows this rivalry between the Greasers and the Socs. And it all sort of comes to a head when this fight happens between Johnny, Ponyboy, and then a group of the Socs. They fight. One of them, the Socs, ends up dying. They accidentally kill him. Well, Johnny stabs him and kills him, and then they end up running away. And so a good chunk of the book is just Johnny and Ponyboy together. And the chemistry really shines through with how they casted those two characters. So that's one of my favorite parts of the movie is their friendship. And then one of my favorite things from the movie that is different from the book is that in the movie they gave Dally a much bigger role than what he is in the book. In the book, he also does sort of help Johnny and Ponyboy figure out what they're going to do when they leave. But in the movie, I'd say he's one of the standout stars in it. It was sort of like one of Matt Dillon's big like standout roles that sort of put him on the map. And I think because it was Matt Dillon, that's why they made Dally a bigger character as well in the movie because he was just so great. But I think it worked really well. But because of that, I think they changed just a little bit. So one thing that maybe I wish was highlighted a little bit more is in the books, something that's focused on more is the three brothers' relationship is much more like a big factor in the book, and they really like focus on the fact that both of their parents died in a car accident. And in the movie, they sort of like brush over at the beginning, and then at the end, they have like the court scene where you get the sort of emotional scene where you find out he's going to get to stay with them. But other than that, they don't really focus on it as much. So I guess if I would change one thing, I wish they sort of focus on that more. But overall, it's a pretty good retelling or adaptation of the book. It's really faithful. It has all of the important scenes from it. And I would say they really didn't change or leave out any really big important scenes that I think were missing from it. Especially with a book like that where I think a lot of people would have really big expectations going into it because it was really a beloved book. I think they did a good job with it, though. And, yeah, the casting is just crazy because when you're watching it, just as each of them shows up, you're like, is that Tom Cruise? Then you're like, is that Patrick Swayze? And you're like, is that Rob Lowe? And it's all of them one after the other. But, yeah, I just think it's an incredible movie. And I think they did a great job of adapting it from the book. So I think it's one of the best.
Agreed.
For sure. But, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we just realized you might have spoiled a little bit for Hannah here, who has not read The Outsiders.
I've seen the movie.
Or you have seen the movie.
But
Okay.
I find it very interesting that you've not read The Outsiders when you were, like, a literature.
And
It's
that's written by
not-
a woman who was in high school.
I know.
Yeah.
That's not really like the kind of literature that we studied.
get out of here.
Sorry.
Studied a higher,
It's
higher
so
form
good.
of literature.
Sorry.
I
So you
see.
should read it. It's very
I'll
good.
put it on my list. I'm kind of in the middle of a 6-book series right now. Didn't realize there's that many books, but
Yeah, it's really good. And you know it's a really good movie when you're watching it and Patrick Swayze is not the most interesting character. Because, like, at the time, he was, like, getting
Gorgeous.
pretty big, too.
absolutely gorgeous.
And, like, since he wasn't they like didn't really make that much of an effort to give him more stuff in the movie. Like they had so many amazing actors that like Matt Dillon got to be like a bigger character just because he was so amazing in it. And it's just a really great movie.
You want to see casting like that today?
Yeah,
Unless it was like a Marvel movie.
Right.
Yeah, it really is crazy. It is sort of like you're watching a Marvel movie when they all start showing up on screen. You're like, that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, so it's just great.
The Outsiders is an excellent choice. S.E. Hinton is an excellent author, legendary woman, and I just had finished reading right before we walked into this room to record. I just finished her book that was published next in the same world of The Outsiders. So,
which I need to read.
yes.
So, but yeah, you should read The Outsiders though. Yes. So, not to get off topic, but it was made into a musical, which I actually saw on Broadway in New York, and it was really incredible. The music is great. The fight scene is incredible when they're like fighting between each other. Like they have the big rumble and stuff. However, they did make a really big change.
Don't spoil it. Don't
Okay,
spoil
fine.
it.
I won't spoil it.
Wait, tell me afterwards.
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards. It has to do with Dally, and if you've seen the musical, you know what I'm talking about. Didn't love it.
That's
but
crazy for
I won't spoil,
a musical
but yeah.
to take that liberty.
But it was pretty good though. So Hannah,
Interesting.
what did you choose?
I kind of flipped the script as well from last week. So last week I did Pride and Prejudice. This week I'm doing Twilight. It's one of my absolute favorite movies. And not because the book is good, not because the movie is good. I don't really know if either of those statements are true. I just really love the movie. I don't know why. I just love it so much. So Twilight, the book, was published in 2005. It was inspired by a dream that the author, Stephanie Meyer, had. And it was written in under 3 months, and it shows. The movie
I believe it.
came out in 2008. It was directed by Catherine Hardwicke. It was made on a budget of $37 million, and it made more than $408 million. The Rotten Tomatoes come in at 48%, so kind of middle of the road there. But the audience score is a hard 72. So the audience, like me, loves this movie.
Loves 72%.
I mean, if you love it, you love it. I mean, you're not middle of the road like the Rotten Tomatoes, like the critic scores. Like, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I don't know why I love it. Maybe because I was like 12 when it came out. I was 11, 12 when the movie came out. And it's just like the fanfare around it. It was just such an exciting, innocent, sweet time in my life. There aren't a ton of like changes between the book and the movie. So when you're looking at it from that point of view, they did a really good job of taking a book and making it into a movie. I used audibleblog.com to kind of help me out because it's been a long time since I've read the book because it's hard to read as an adult with an adult brain. And you go, this is an awful relationship. Why would you do that? And it's been a couple weeks since I watched the movie. So a couple things are they just kind of did like a classic thing we've talked about a lot. They kind of merged some characters together. The book, of course, has more backstory. Each vampire kind of has their origin story of how they became a vampire. We don't always get into all of those. Later on in the series, you get a little bit more. One thing I saw that a lot of people pointed out is Bella's Lullaby. It's a big song in the books. It goes throughout all the books. It's not actually in the books. It goes through all the movies. It's not actually in the books. Lots of people were hard-pressed about that. I wasn't, but lots of people were pointing that out. One thing, though, that I really loved that the movies did that was not in the book is how Bella finds out that and kind of addresses that Edward is a vampire. you didn't know Edward's Vampire, it's been out for like 20 years. Sorry.
Sorry, Clayton, to spoil it for you.
Sorry, Clayton, to spoil it for you.
I've actually
Edward's
seen
a
the first
va-
movie. It's been a very long time.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so blue. I love it so much.
so
I'm
blue.
gonna
So
go.
blue.
I'm gonna go home and watch it tonight. I love it so much. So
Now you're gonna watch Survivor tonight.
no, I'm not watching Survivor tonight. I'm gonna watch Survivor tomorrow because it's way past my bedtime. It's way past my bedtime. I go to
is way
bed
past
at
your bedtime.
6
Okay.
p.m. Yeah. So I'm gonna watch this at 4 p.m. That's midnight to me. So it's an iconic scene. How Bella is like, they're in the woods. Bella and Edward, they're in the woods, and she's like, I know what you are. And he's like, say it out loud. That's not in the book. They made that up for the movie. And I just love it. I think that's great. The baseball scene in the movie, it's in the book as well. But in the movie, it comes to life. You got the music of Muse behind it. Oh, I mean, nothing can beat it. That high kick from Alice. I mean,
Iconic.
I know. And then just looking at Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, nothing beats it. It's amazing. I'm going to go home and
And
watch
Taylor
it tonight.
Lautner. Let's shout out
Taylor
Lautner. Please.
Lautner, he does have that awful wig on during the Twilight movies.
Free him from that.
Free him from the wig. You don't
Free
get him
him.
freed until New Moon, but
Isn't that
oh
just the next
goodness.
one?
New Moon is the next one.
That
And
isn't that
One
long.
movie was way too long.
New Moon might be my bad adaptation because
That was
I hated how they. So the next book, Catherine Hardwicke, who directed Twilight, she really wanted to direct all of them, but Twilight exploded. It was so popular that they wanted to, unlike we do today, they wanted to like boom, 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 really put them out fast. And she was like, I can't do that. I really want to put in the time and give them what they deserve. So they hired a different director for the next.
And it showed, didn't it?
And it really showed. It really showed. Imagine
for
a new.
Catherine.
I know, but Catherine Hardwicke is coming back to direct Midnight Sun. That's Twilight and Edward's POV, the animated series that will be on Netflix somewhere around like 2030.
Oh, okay.
And you know I'm going to be sad for that. Midnight Sun, terrible book. It's so bad. It is so toxic. That
And
relationship.
it's not a fan fiction. It's written also by Stephanie.
Isn't all of Twilight a fan fiction?
Yeah, that's a good point.
A fan fiction of a dream.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Stephanie Meyer is just so me. I love her so much. I love these books. It was such a time in my life to be alive while the movies were coming out. It was amazing.
So you got into it like right away.
Oh yeah, I was like the Twilight girl.
Okay.
I didn't send you my pictures. I'll send you them later. I did mean to send you the embarrassing pictures of me during my Twilight era to blast
The
for
con.
everyone
The
watching.
con.
Yeah.
Maybe for next week's episode.
Maybe
can
for
still
next
stick it in.
week's, I'll you just have to remind me to send them to you.
So, did you two watch it also?
My best friend is a huge fan, so she made me watch it as an adult. I had never seen it before. I was a humongous Harry Potter fan, so
You
when
can
it
love
was
them
the
both.
feud, I accept
I love
that
them
now,
both.
but
I
when
love
it
them
was
both.
a feud, when we were kids, when I was 8 and you were 12,
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. That's
it was
crazy.
either Harry Potter or Twilight. I couldn't.
That
have
was
both.
not a big thing. I feel like at my school and stuff.
Interesting.
People loved them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that.
And who are you guys
Very
shipping?
open. Oh, that's a great question, Clayton. I have a cousin who's exactly 1 month older than me, and she's like my sister. She's my best friend for life, my day one. We got into some serious arguments because I was Team Edward and she was Team Jacob, and it got very, very, very bad at some points. And then we kind of flip flop for a while. We would, depending on the book.
I see it
definitely
as
Team
very
Edward.
I see it as very similar to Katniss with Peeta
Yeah.
or Gale. Like if Gale and Jacob are like the best friends and she's known them her whole life, I assume that's what it is in
Yeah.
Twilight. Then it's
Yeah.
so
That's really what
different-
it's
different
like.
Dynamic.
Yeah, I have seen all of them. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
New Moon is my least favorite.
New Moon's the worst.
Skip every time.
100%.
It's just so slow too. Like, and
It
I'm not a big
is.
Jacob girly.
And like Edward's hardly in it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Also, fun fact, my nephew is named Emmett. And my sister won't admit it, but she's a huge Twilight fan. And I do think part of her inspiration came from the character Emmett from that movie.
Yes, he is one of the vampires.
So I will not stand for her saying it doesn't have anything to do with it.
I 100% believe you. When you told me that his name was going to be Emmett, I was like, oh, from Twilight.
Yeah. So I do think the inspiration came from there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would
iconic
love to
movies.
deep dive into every single Twilight movie. We could just do a Twilight podcast, Clayton. He looks like
He
he's
looks
so
like
happy.
he really wants to do it. I hope the camera's on him right
And
now.
I don't even want, like, the books, I've read them, like, maybe twice.
Mhm.
The movies are so far superior. And let me just say, I do not support the relationships by any means in these books. They are so toxic. They are so awful. If a man treats
fantasy.
you, if a man treats you like this, run.
But the movies are not like that.
Yeah, they're exactly like
Oh.
that. But you have
the
to
movies
you
are
have
like
to
that.
let go of reality.
I mean,
and
they
you have
are
to say-
vampires, so.
And he is like 100-something years older than her. But you just have to let go of reality for a little bit and say, I'm just here to be entertained.
Oh, okay.
And you say, yeah, if this was real life, I would tell my bestie, girl, this is a bad relationship. Get out. Move back to Arizona.
Well, there you go.
Take your little cactus and run.
Real quick, I'm blanking because I was gonna ask you guys a trivia question. What were your two movies from last week?
I did Great Gatsby.
Gatsby, that's right, and specifically the '70s version.
Yes.
Clayton, are you a lefty?
Yes, I am.
Me too.
Nice. And then what was yours, Logan?
The Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. That's right. Okay. I was gonna look them up on specifically Catching Fire.
Yeah, the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Catching
The
Fire.
best one.
I was going to look them all up on Rotten Tomatoes and see if you could guess which one has the highest and lowest
Oh, I love that.
critic and audience score. So I have.
Ooh.
I remembered yours from last week, Hannah. I needed the
yeah.
other
I
two.
bet
So
Catching Fire
while
has a high
while
I
I'm
think
Oh
so
yeah,
too.
that's like exactly what I thought. Ooh, okay.
So
I
we're
yeah
gonna
while
guess.
I'm looking up the other two, you guys can guess out of the
Can you
six.
write down the 6 on your notepad or
Are we
something?
just ranking the ones from last week or this week?
All of them.
We
Yeah,
got all
take
six?
all 6 into account.
Oh, okay. So we have Pride and Prejudice.
Are we working together? Or are we going to do our separate?
I think I want to do my own.
Yeah, basically do it like Final Jeopardy. So you guys write it down.
I don't
and-
have
Okay.
a
Borrow your
pen,
once you're
though.
done.
Twilight.
Clayton, do you have a pen?
You guys might be able to share this. I think it's technically like a Sharpie, but that should get the job
Catching Fire.
done. Mm-hmm.
What was the other one, Logan?
Gatsby.
What'd you do today? Why am I
The
forgetting?
Outsiders.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
The thing is, too, because Rotten Tomatoes is a modern era thing,
that's
I
what I
just
was
feel
thinking.
like by default, The
See?
Outsiders and Great Gatsby, Robert Redford's version, are not going to have
As high.
yeah, just because people probably don't always think to go back and.
Well,
I don't know, but if
Twilight
you're-
has a
if you're-
70%.
Yeah, that's not fair. I already gave you
Wait,
mine.
are we guessing
I still don't have a pen.
both?
Yeah, I guess the highest and lowest audience and critic scores.
Oh, so we don't have to rank them all. We're just saying the highest and
Yes.
lowest.
Yeah.
And the Princess Bride.
Okay, so we're not
I don't think
ranking
we would
all
ha-
of them. I'm
yeah,
just
I don't
saying
think
which
we'd
one
have
I think
enough
has the
time for that.
highest audience in the. Okay.
Yeah. And I have them
so
all written down, so
hard.
we're good to go.
I have to look at them. I'm gonna say, okay, so critic and audience. Okay. Ooh.
This is so hard.
Ooh. This is really hard.
Yeah, and then I guess I've seen 4 of these movies. I have not seen the '70s Gatsby rendition, and then I have not seen Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my goodness, this is so hard.
So some of these scores actually do surprise me.
And are you're going off of the audience score
Can I see
or
your thing?
I just learned today there's 2 different scores.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Hold on, I am not ready.
did you guys
Yeah, I
hear-
was talking about it.
Which one
Yeah.
I think has the lowest audience score.
I'm not helping
But
you.
is that the one we're going off of, Clayton, the audience score?
We're doing both.
Both highest and lowest
Sorry,
critic and audience.
Why am I not paying attention? Okay.
I kind of wanted to
Because for some
choose-
movies
yeah.
there are like a lot of times like you'll see like comedies, like most like comedies are not really objectively like if you're really critiquing it from a cinematography standpoint, good movies. But if they're funny, then they're usually going to have a really high audience score and not a high critic score.
Yeah,
so
that makes
that's
sense.
just one example.
I mean, Twilight.
but-
It's a terrible movie, but everyone loves it. So.
Right.
76
I don't know if I'm
on Instagram.
anywhere right, but this is what I'm going with.
I don't think any of mine are right,
I don't
but.
think any of mine are right either.
Okay, I'm gonna put you each one by one if you want to like flip your
Oh wait,
notepad.
wait! I'm sorry. I messed up.
Then
Oh wait,
we'll-
no.
then we'll-
Mine is
no,
like
no.
illegible.
Then we'll start with
Mine
Lydia.
doesn't make sense. Can I?
Lydia, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm definitely predicting that Catching Fire has the #1 top score. And just by
Both.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'm still
Confidence.
thinking about the book I just finished. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll say that Catching Fire for both #1, and then I just purely the fact that it's maybe the oldest one on there. I put A Great Gatsby last just because way predates Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah.
Okay. Logan.
Okay, for audience, for highest, I'm going with Catching Fire.
Mm-hmm.
For lowest audience, I'm going with The Great Gatsby, which I think might be a crazy guess, but I'm just going with it.
Okay.
For critic score, for lowest, I'm going with Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
And for highest critic, I'm going with The Outsiders.
Okay. Hannah.
Yeah, that's
Logan, we almost had the same sheet. Okay. So for audience, I had the highest as Catching Fire,
We all
the
love Catching
lowest as The Great Gatsby, just because it is the oldest and I could not choose. For critics, I had the highest as The Princess Bride and the lowest as Twilight.
I like y'all's answers better than mine.
For the lowest critic, I almost put Pride and Prejudice.
I almost put Pride and
Because
Prejudice.
that was
as
very
well.
like separating for
Controversial,
people.
yeah.
but-
So only one of you got the highest correct.
For which one?
And
for
none
audience
of-
or
for
critic?
critic,
For critic,
was it that
critic, none of you got it right for audience.
It wasn't Catching Fire.
Are you serious?
Was it Twilight?
The #1 for both is The Princess Bride.
Oh, all
For-
right.
Actually, you know
Oh.
what? That's not
For
that's
highest
not too
critic
shocking.
and for
Pr-
audience?
yes, Princess Bride has a 93%
Love.
critic score
Wow.
and 94% audience score.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
That is
I
like
just,
pretty.
yeah.
That's pretty.
lot.
Yeah, that's not too
Catching
shocking.
The
Fire
lowest,
robbed.
a lot of you were, I forget, I guess I already forget kind of who said what, but most of you were correct on Gatsby being the lowest. Yeah, the 70s rendition has a 40% critic score, 47%
Dang.
audience score.
Well,
And then
I'm-
just for fun, the 2013 version wasn't much better, a 49% and a 67%.
Okay.
Catching Fire was very close to Princess Bride. It had a 90% critic and
Hey, that was
89%
really
audience.
89% audience.
Um,
Wow.
Pride
knew.
and Prejudice
Should've got an
would come
Oscar.
in next. It had an 87% critic and a 90% audience.
Oh,
And then Outsiders had a 71% critic, 82% audience. And then Twilight, with the biggest disparity of them all, had a 48% critic and a 72% audience.
Hey, I got that one right.
I'm telling you, Catching Fire should have won some Oscars.
Catching
If it
Fire
wasn't
is
such a big-
amazing.
Big, I don't know the right word for it. Like, what's it
Like
called? when it's
YA, like
no, like
sorta.
what's like, what's it called? Like Harry Potter.
Adventure
like
or like
not
The
No,
biggest,
like,
the biggest what? Like the
like
biggest
when
fandom?
they're, I can't think the
live
word for it.
brainstorm.
Like Harry Potter, Marvel.
fantasy.
the universe.
A
No.
blockbuster?
I don't
Yeah,
know
like
what
something
I was
like
thinking
that.
Blockbuster
Like
too,
when
yeah.
they're, I can't think the word. I'll remember after, as soon as we're done. I'm sure I'll remember
100%,
it.
yeah.
But if it wasn't that kind of a movie, I think it would have been up for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It deserved it.
Jennifer Lawrence won her Oscar eventually.
I know.
Yeah.
She deserved it.
And that's pretty much all the time we have. I guess mine quick. Decided no, trust me. I'm not feeling super well anyway, so I'm glad I could just let you guys talk. Mine is Holes. I think both the
Very
book
good.
and the movie are very good. A pretty star-studded cast as well for the movie version. Sigourney Weaver, John Voight, Patricia Arquette. The titular character of I guess he's not in the title of the movie, but Stanley Yelnats, the main character of the movie, is played by Shia LaBeouf. Tim Blake Nelson's also in it. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of a Rick Fox cameo, who was an NBA player in the 90s and early 2000s. It's a very interesting cast, good cast. One thing I actually just learned today is that the author of Holes, Louis Sakar, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, actually adapted his own film and did the screenplay. For the movie, and I do believe that it's very, from what I remember, very, very faithful to the source material. So yeah, I thought they did a really good job with that. It's a very good movie. Pretty funny too, especially John. I think John Boy is fantastic. He plays one of the camp counselors, Mr. Sir. Like this is a very tough guy, but he's also kind of an idiot, and so he gets in a lot of funny situations. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all the time we have for
franchise. Franchise. A franchise film. That's what the Hunger Games was. That's what I'm thinking of. A franchise film, like Hunger Games and stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Like I said, next week we'll just continue our recaps and looking forward to new Survivor episodes. And then we are also going to touch on our least favorite book to movie adaptations.
Wuthering Heights.
Which will probably feature an argument between Lydia and I. And maybe Hannah could get in too. Have you started reading And Then There Were None?
You know the answer to that.
I do. That's why we're putting you on blast on live TV. So we can
maybe by next week.
It's a short novel.
It's okay if you don't. You can spend your time in better ways.
Oh wow! Oh. Well, I guess she already just spoiled her.
We'll start the feud now.
Wow.
So yeah, that's all the time we have. Thank you for watching with Wayne. For Logan, Lydia, Hannah, and myself. Thank you for tuning in for another episode, and we will see you again on the next one.
This is Watching with Wayne.